He told me he loved me on a Tuesday. On Wednesday, he was in her apartment. I found out on a Thursday, not from him, not from her, but from a photograph that someone sent me anonymously at 11 o'clock at night. One photograph, two people. Everything I believed about my life, gone. But the person who sent me that photograph did me the greatest favor of my life, and Karma had already been watching for a very long time. My name is Christine. I am 44 years old, and I live in North Carolina. 2 years ago, I was engaged to a man I had been with for 4 years. His name was Marcus. He was charming, attentive, and said everything a woman wants to hear. He was also saying all of it to someone else at the same time. We met through mutual friends. He pursued me. He was consistent, romantic, and deliberate about every step he took to be with me. Within 6 months, we were exclusive. Within 2 years, we were living together. Within 4 years, he had proposed with a ring he had custom designed. I believed every single moment of it. That was the point. The photograph arrived at 11:04 p.m. on a Thursday. Unknown number. No message. Just an image. Marcus and a woman I did not recognize, his arm around her head on his shoulder. The kind of photograph you take when you are completely comfortable, completely at home. The location tag on the photograph was a restaurant 20 minutes from our apartment. He had told me that Thursday he was working late. I sat on the edge of our bed and stared at that photograph for 17 minutes. I know because I checked the time when I finally put the phone down. I did not call him. I did not text him. I waited. He came home at midnight. He walked in, kissed me on the cheek, and said he was exhausted. I showed him the photograph. He looked at it for a long time. Then he said, "That is not what it looks like." It was exactly what it looked like. Her name was Vanessa. They had been together for 14 months, almost the entire time we had been engaged. She did not know about me either. When I tell you Marcus had constructed 2 complete and separate lives, I mean that precisely. Different restaurants, different friends, different stories for every weekend he was not with one of us. He had told Vanessa he was a consultant who traveled frequently. He had told me the same thing in a different direction. Every business trip, every late night, every weekend conference, split between us. Perfectly managed, perfectly performed. The ring he gave me, I found out later, was not custom designed. He had told Vanessa the same story about a custom ring. He had bought 2. Same ring, different women. Same lie. When I found out about the second ring, I sat in my car in a parking lot and laughed. Not because it was funny, because the scale of it was so complete that crying did not feel like enough of a response. I contacted Vanessa directly. She called me within 10 minutes of receiving my message. We spoke for 3 hours. She was as devastated as I was. She was also furious in the same specific way I was, not just at the betrayal, but at the precision of it, the effort it took, the deliberateness of every lie. Marcus had not stumbled into this situation. He had built it, maintained it, chosen it every single day for over a year. Vanessa and I made a decision together. We were not going to let him manage this the way he had managed everything else. We were not going to be handled. We contacted every mutual friend, every colleague he had introduced to either of us under different stories. We put the truth in front of every person he had used as a prop in his performance. Within 2 weeks, Marcus had no version of the story left to tell. Marcus lost his job 3 months later. A woman at his company, someone he had also been seeing casually, came forward with records of conversations in which he had used confidential company information to impress her during their relationship. His employer conducted an internal review. He was terminated for breach of professional conduct. He lost his apartment, which had been tied to a corporate housing arrangement through his job.
he moved back to his hometown, alone. Vanessa and I still speak occasionally, not often, but sometimes one of us will send the other a message, just a simple check-in, a reminder that we got through it. The anonymous photograph was never explained. I never found out who sent it. But I have thought about that person many times. Whoever they were, they saw something. They made a choice. They sent one photograph at 11 o'clock on a Thursday night. And everything built on 4 years of lies came apart within weeks.
I got engaged again last year. To someone who has never once made me feel like I need to check his phone. Someone whose stories always match. Someone who comes home when he says he will. I used to think the hardest thing about what Marcus did was the betrayal itself. Now I think the hardest thing was realizing how much energy I had spent trusting someone who was never trustworthy. And how little energy it takes to trust someone who actually is. My grandmother used to say, "A lie needs 100 more lies to survive. The truth needs nothing." She was right. Marcus needed a second apartment, a second ring, a second life, and a second woman, just to maintain one lie. And in the end, it still fell apart. Because it always does. Karma does not need a reason. It just needs time. If this story moved you, subscribe to Karma Finds You. Every week, we bring you true stories of betrayal, justice, and the moment karma finally arrives. Hit that bell. Leave a comment. Have you ever discovered a lie that was bigger than you imagined? Karma finds you every single time.